Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. My name is Nuraina Safiyah. Today we will be presenting about narcotic policies in Singapore, a system widely regarded as one of the strictest and most effective in the world. Singapore has achieved exceptionally low rates of drug misuse owing to its robust anti-drug laws, strict enforcement, and comprehensive rehabilitation efforts. To understand Singapore's drug laws, it is essential to consider their origins. After gaining independence, Singapore faced challenges like rapid population growth, urbanization, and a rising drug problem. In response, the government prioritized public health and safety, introducing stringent measures to combat drug misuse. A key milestone was the enactment of the Misuse of Drug Act, which remains the foundation of the country's drug enforcement strategy today. As we continue this discussion, let's examine the effectiveness of these measures and consider how Singapore's policies can serve as inspiration or caution for other nations grappling with similar issues.
Singapore is globally known for its stringent narcotics policies designed to combat drug abuse and trafficking while ensuring public safety. Let's take a closer look at the key aspects of these policies, the historical development of drug laws, and the agencies enforcing them. First, let's delve into the key legislations. The Misuse of Drugs Act, or MDA, is the cornerstone of Singapore's drug control framework. Introduced in 1973, the MDA establishes the legal foundation for drug classification, penalties, and enforcement procedures. It reflects a zero-tolerance approach combining punitive measures with rehabilitation programs to address drug issues. However, the MDA does not just emphasize punishment, it also supports rehabilitation. Repeat offenders can be sent to drug rehabilitation centers or DRCs where they undergo structured programs aimed at reducing dependency and reintegrating into society. Singapore's journey to its current drug policies has been shaped by its history. During British colonial rule, opium addiction was widespread, leading to the 1909 Opium Proclamation. However, the regulation of opium use failed to address the root problems of addiction. After independence in 1965, Singapore adopted stricter measures culminating in the 1973 Misuse of Drugs Act. In the decades that followed, the government strengthened enforcement by establishing the Central Narcotics Bureau and launching public education campaigns like Say No to Drugs. By the 1990s, rehabilitation became a key focus. Drug rehabilitation centers were introduced, reflecting the understanding that addiction is not just a criminal issue, but also a social and health challenge. Enforcement of these policies is carried out by key government agencies. The Central Narcotics Bureau, or CNB, leads efforts against drug addiction, possession, and trafficking. Its operations include investigations, arrests, and dismantling drug syndicates. The Singapore Police Force, or SPF, supports the CNB in large-scale operations and contributes through community policing efforts. Meanwhile, the Immigration and Checkpoints Authority, or ICA, prevents drug smuggling by monitoring Singapore's borders with advanced detection technology. By combining strict legislation, rehabilitation initiatives, and multi-agency enforcement, Singapore has successfully maintained one of the lowest drug abuse rates in the world. Its unwavering commitment to a drug-free society serves as a model for many nations.
In this section, we'll look at how drugs are classified, the penalties for drug-related offences, and the mandatory drug testing policies that ensure strict enforcement. Singapore drug laws are rooted in the Misuse of Drugs Act, MDA, which provides a precise and detailed classification of controlled substances based on their potential for abuse, medicinal value, and societal risks. Number 1. Class A substances. These are the most dangerous drugs with no medicinal value and high abuse potential. Examples include heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and LSD. Number 2. Class B substances. Slightly less dangerous but still pose significant risks. Examples include synthetic cannabinoids, ketamine, and cannabis. Number 3. Class C substances. These include drugs with medicinal value but potential for misuse, such as anabolic steroids and benzodiazepines. And last but not least, number 4. Emerging psychoactive substances, NPS. The fifth schedule of the MDA proactively monitors new synthetic drugs. Substances showing abuse trends can be quickly classified as controlled drugs, ensuring the law remains adaptive to changing drug market. Singapore enforces strict penalties for drug-related offences to deter misuse. For drug possession, individuals caught with small amounts face fines up to 20,000 Singaporean dollar, imprisonment for up to 10 years, or both. Possession of larger amounts can lead to presumption of trafficking, requiring the accused to prove otherwise. Drug trafficking carries the harshest penalties, including the death penalty for trafficking large quantities such as 15 grams of heroin or 500 grams of cannabis. For smaller amounts, offenders may face up to 30 years in prison and fines up to 100,000 Singaporean dollars. Drug use is also treated seriously. First-time offenders can receive fines up to 20,000 Singaporean dollars, imprisonment for up to 10 years or both. Repeat offenders face harsher punishment, including mandatory rehabilitation programs. Mandatory drug testing is a key part of Singapore's strategy to combat drug use. Testing is conducted on arrested suspects during random checks in high-risk areas and for citizens or residents returning from overseas, as drug use is punishable even if it occurs abroad. Testing methods include urine tests, which are quick and effective for detecting recent drug use, hair tests for identifying long-term drug use, and blood tests used in specific cases for detailed analysis. These measures ensure strict enforcement and aim to deter drug use effectively.
Hi, my name is AHMAD ZAKWAN and I'll be explaining a lot more about the effectiveness of Singapore narcotics policy and the statistic drug-related offences. So, as we all know, Singapore enforces some of the world's strictest drug law, reflecting its zero-tolerance approach to drug abuse and trafficking. The Central Narcotics Bureau, CNB, plays a crucial role in addressing this issue, with its 2023 report revealing a 10% increase in arrests, totaling 3,122 offenders, including 952 new abuses, which are all 51% and all were under 30 years old. Methamphetamine, heroin, and cannabis accounted for 94% of cases, while female arrests rose by 12% to 457, making up 15% of total arrests. CNB also dismantled 25 drug syndicates and seized over 15 million worth of drugs. Despite challenges such as rising abuse among youth and women, the government remains committed to strict enforcement and public education in order to maintain Singapore's status as one of the safest countries in drug control. Next, let's look at some of the examples. So, as we all know, Singapore's drug control policy is globally recognized for its firm stance against drug abuse in order to aim, maintain and enlarge a drug-free society through the Misuse of Drugs Act, strict enforcement and public education. This approach imposes severe penalties including rehabilitations for abusers and even death penalty for major traffickers, while preventive measures like community collaborations and public campaigns are overseen by the Central Narcotics Bureau (CNB). The policy's effectiveness is evident in consistently low drug-related crime rates, the dismantling of large drug syndicates, and the rehabilitations of young offenders. CNB, working with agencies like the Singapore Police Force and Immigrations and Checkpoints Authority, uses random drug tests similar to police powers that target searches and to combat trafficking and abuse. Celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2021, the government credited CNB with saving thousands from drugs and crime, emphasizing the success of Singapore drug policy as a global model for addressing drug-related challenges. Moving on to the next point, I would like to compare Singapore's policy to regional and international policies. So, Singapore's narcotics policy is renowned for its strict measures, including death penalty for major traffickers and mandatory rehabilitation for abusers under the Misuse of Drug Acts. The Central Narcotics Bureau (CNB) plays a key role in prevention and enforcement, implementing community partnerships, public awareness, campaigns, and even international collaborations, while neighbouring countries like Malaysia and Thailand also impose severe penalties. Their policies often place less emphasis on prevention and rehabilitation compared to Singapore's balanced approach. Internationally, countries like the United States and Australia and even United Kingdom focus on punitive measures alongside harm reduction and therapy, but they often face criticism for inadequate rehabilitation effort. European nations like Portugal take a different approach, emphasizing treatment over punishment. Singapore's policy, tough strict, is highly effective in combating drug abuse and trafficking, making it global benchmark for addressing drug-related challenges.
Despite Singapore's robust anti-drug measures, the fight against narcotics remains a challenging and ever-evolving battle. Let's explore some of the current challenges and potential recommendations to strengthen Singapore's drug control strategies. One of the most pressing challenges is the changing tactics of drug traffickers. With advancements in technology, traffickers are increasingly turning to the dark web and encrypted communication platforms to carry out their operations. This makes it harder for law enforcement agencies to monitor and intercept illegal drug transactions. Another significant issue is the global rise in synthetic narcotics like methamphetamine and novel psychoactive substances or NPS. These substances are often produced in small, concealed labs and transported across borders with ease. Due to their complex and evolving chemical structures, NPS are challenging to detect and regulate under existing laws. Social factors also contribute to the problem. Despite public education efforts, some individuals, particularly young people, experiment with drugs due to peer pressure, curiosity, or misconceptions about their safety. This underscores the importance of continuous prevention and rehabilitation programs to address the root causes of drug addiction. To tackle these challenges, Singapore must adapt its strategies and refine its policies. Here are some recommendations for improvement. First, law enforcement agencies can harness cutting-edge technology such as artificial intelligence and machine learning. These tools can help identify trends in drug trafficking, particularly on digital platforms like the dark web, and improve the effectiveness of enforcement operations. Second, enhancing international cooperation is crucial. Working closely with global organizations and other nations can strengthen intelligence sharing, joint operations, and training efforts. This collaboration is especially vital in combating synthetic drugs and dismantling cross-border trafficking networks. Third, public education campaigns need to be expanded, especially for young people. By leveraging social media, schools, and community programs, we can raise awareness about the dangers of drug use and correct misconceptions, such as the belief that some substances are safe. Finally, greater support should be directed toward rehabilitation and reintegration programs. Policies could focus on funding drug counseling, mental health services, and vocational training for ex-offenders. By reducing recidivism and empowering individuals to rebuild their lives, we move closer to a drug-free society. By addressing these challenges and implementing these recommendations, Singapore can continue to lead the way in effective drug control. Together, we can adapt to new threats and build a safer, drug-free future.
So, in conclusion, Singapore's drug control policies, underpinned by the Misuse of Drug Act (MDA), combine strict laws, harsh penalties, and even comprehensive enforcement in order to maintain a largely drug-free nation. The MDA enforces severe consequences for drug use, trafficking, and possession, including the death penalty for the serious trafficking and rehabilitations for offenders. Collaborations among key agencies such as the police, border control, and the Central Narcotics Bureau ensures effective enforcement. The significant reduction in drug-related crimes and the dismantling of numerous drug syndicates highlight the policy success, even in the face of challenge like synthetic drugs and evolving trafficking methods. Singapore's unique approach emphasizes not only enforcement but also prevention, education, and rehabilitation, setting a global standard in combating drug abuse. In order to sustain its achievement and address emerging threats, Singapore must leverage modern technology and strengthen international partnerships and also enhance funding rehabilitation programs. Thank you for listening to our presentation. I hope you enjoy it, and that's all from us. Thank you.